Hello and welcome back to another super entertaining episode of What the Buddy and Kreese. We're your hosts. I'm Buddy.
And I'm Kreese, and yes, he'll keep doing that.
All the live long day. So, we're just sitting here gabbing, and Kreese tells me he's got a good story we thought we'd share with all you out there in the podcast world. And so I'm just going to hand the baton to Kreese and let him run with it.
So many of my career lives that I've had, I was fortunate enough where I was able to be an instructor for a trade school here locally. I say locally, here in the metro area. And, you know, at that position, besides being an instructor, I did that for about a year there. I was there for two years total.
Okay.
I went from an instructor to their intern manager, coordinator, whatever you want to call it,
right.
where I would help the students once they completed
job placement type things.
Once they completed their program, help them get an internship, so that hopefully that would lead to a full-time gig afterwards.
Right. Perfect.
And then I did that for about 6 months, and then I got the opportunity to become the security manager for the facility.
Okay. Which is more up your alley, given your background and all that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
In hindsight, I probably should have just kept my nose to the grind and stayed at the bottom. But you know, you know how it is when you get promoted into management and all the BS you got to deal with.
Right.
But this, to give you a little layout of this background. So the main building, this whole facility was built in 1900, early 1900s.
All right. So it's old school.
It is old school.
Yeah.
So it's been retrofitted many times. There's been a wide variety of different businesses over the years, and schools and facilities and you name it.
In that area, sure.
Correct. So the main building itself was 4 stories.
4-story building.
The ground floor had classrooms, administrative office, the cafeteria.
Okay.
It had the gym, with locker rooms.
Right.
You know, it was a full working school, for lack of a better description.
Okay. Sure.
So the second floor was basically their job placement people.
Okay. It's where you worked for the 6 months.
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there?
No. I wasn't job placement.
Oh, okay.
I was internship.
Oh, I got you.
So job placement people were on the second floor.
Okay.
And also on the second floor, there were some classes on the second floor for some of the medical, like the CNA program, the Certified Nursing Assistant program.
Sure.
They actually had classrooms on the second floor.
All right.
Okay. So you had offices and classrooms.
Offices and classrooms.
So the third floor was what we used to call, and excuse the expression, but the mental health floor.
Okay.
And the reason we called it was we had counselors up there.
Oh,
we had a room.
Makes sense.
We had a room there that a decompressing room, a timeout. I called it a timeout room. That's wrong terminology to use, but basically what it was. Somebody that was stressed out and needed to do some quiet time because the facility was noisy.
Sure.
There's people everywhere.
Yeah.
And you have individuals from all walks of life from around the country, and in some places from a couple countries, I should say territories that we have here with the United States, that would come in here to learn a trade.
Okay.
And so you had people everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, you know, sometimes people that came in, they were dealing with some mental health issues.
Okay.
You know, it was a safe place to work, but, you know, they had it. So we had all of our counseling and those staff members on that third floor.
Okay.
Correct. So, all right. The fourth floor was actually what we called our honors dorm.
Okay.
And it was for those students that are excelling in every aspects, from being good citizens to good grades, perfect attendance, going above and beyond.
Sure.
And it was kind of like, honestly, like mini apartments. They were dorm rooms, and they shared them with other students that were allowed to move up there in the dorms as they progressed through their programming. But it was, you know, it was kind of it was a reward. It was a reward, but it was a big thing.
Moving on up.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it was like the penthouse, if you think about it.
There you go.
Penthouse condos up there.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have staff up there. They needed anything, they came down and saw security.
Right.
Because they were the staff in that building
They were the more trusted students.
Yes, yeah.
So
and they had to earn that trust.
Privilege.
Yes, correct.
Cool.
And most of them had jobs on the campus too. So
cool.
And then also on that piece of property, that was the main building. So on the piece of property, we also had a bunch of classrooms.
Okay.
And those classrooms there were consistent for IT related classes, other administrative type programming.
Right. Restaurant management, work, for lack of better.
And you know, they had like office secretary, clerk positions, that type of trade stuff.
Sure.
And then across the street, now this facility had like 3 blocks technically.
Okay.
And they all butted up against each other.
Blocks.
But they encompassed about 3 blocks.
All right.
On the north side, you had dorms, which were 2 floors, both male and female on both sides.
Okay.
2 different floors. They handled their business. They called security, did walkthroughs if there were issues, why not? Because it's still part of the school.
Sure.
But they had their own set of staff over there.
Okay.
And then on the west is what we call our hard trades, our construction trades.
Okay.
Cement,
Wood shop,
carpentry, wood shop,
masonry.
all that.
Okay.
They had another one, and I forget what it was called, but. So they had those all over there. And then actually when I was doing an internship, they had a row of offices over there. Uh-huh. Most of them are empty, but myself, a couple of the employment counselors, their offices were over there also.
Okay.
All right. That's when I was doing internships, that's where I was in the hard trade buildings. Actually, I liked that position over there because I was away from the crap.
Yeah, right. Sure.
But then when you had meetings, you had to go all the way across the street and back through security, so it was kind of a pain in the ass. But anyways.
Right.
So when I became the security manager, one of my duties that they wanted me to do, now I knew everybody, because I've been there a year and a half now.
Right.
I already knew everybody. I talked to everybody. I talked to all the staff. Not friends with them.
Right.
They're coworkers, but I'm cordial. Yeah.
Sure.
We'll share stories or we'll have conversations about things, blah, 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 blah,
But you're not inviting them over for dinner.
Correct. So when I became the security manager, the staff knew who I was, and so I didn't have to do the meet and greet with them. But one thing I was tasked with it, but 2 I always wanted to do was to go sit down and go through with all of them, like every manager always says. But with me, I always did.
Do it, right.
I actually wanted to sit down with them and go through with issues and concerns that each and every one of them had.
Right.
Because I didn't want to lose anybody, which is common when you have a management change like that. I didn't want to lose anybody because they all did a good job as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
So I was there during the day, so I always dealt with the day shift and I always dealt with the swing shift halfway through their shift before I'd go home.
Right.
But, this night I was going to stay over with swing shift, work throughout the evening until graveyard came on and spend a couple hours with them on graveyards and then finally go home.
Sure.
So at this point, I'm looking at a 16, 18-hour day. Nothing new for me. You know me, buddy. 16, 18-hour days is common.
That's a normal day,
So I go walk. So before third shift comes on, graveyard shift comes on, one of the tasks is to make sure all the students are off the property. They're over in their dorms because we lock down the buildings before third shift starts at about 10 p.m. at night.
Okay.
So the second shift, we're walking through. It was about 9 o'clock when they start shuffling everybody. So we'll say 9:15 to get through to close all the other buildings and whatnot. And I'm walking this. I'll just follow you. Talk me through your procedures, what you do in each section.
Show me what you do, what you're looking for.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, the 2 guys that were working the evenings with me that night, they're both younger guys, but one guy was a military vet. I want to say Army, but don't hold me to it.
You're right.
It's been
Army,
many
Marine,
years. So
Navy, or Air Force.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what branch he was in, but he saw combat time.
Sure. Okay.
Over in Iraq and Afghanistan. So, he's got experience.
Sure.
And then the other guy was a younger guy. He worked some security, but not in a facility like this, so he was still learning. He'd been there about a year, so he's still learning the ropes and everything that's going on and what that he has to do. So I'm walking to him, talking to the guys, and I'm like, well, so, we're talking about it. They're like, oh, yeah, when we shut down this building, it's always creepy. But they go, there's only one true haunted place on this property. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Again, my experience, I have my experiences, so I'm like telling them, I know they're going to tell me, the door's shut or water's running, or occasionally they'll see a shadow person. That's what I'm expecting. And they told me, they go, no, the 3rd floor.
Okay.
We absolutely hate the 3rd floor after dark.
Oh, boy.
We don't like going up there at all. Now, they do. We know we have to because we have to secure and lock all the doors.
Right.
But we spend as little time on the 3rd floor as possible. And I go, well, really? What's going on up there? What are you guys seeing? And they're looking at me and they go, well, you probably won't believe it. So, guys, trust me, my experiences, everything you tell me, I won't doubt it.
Right.
Because I know there's truth to it because I've had my own experiences. Not here, but in other organizations.
Right.
I know. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay. So they proceeded to tell me that on many occasions when they go up to the 3rd floor, not even the emergency lights are on. And they work. They test them during the day.
Oh, wow.
But the emergency exit lights, like when the power goes out,
right. The big exit signs,
they have lights that come on automatically. They work because they're always tested during the day and check and whatnot.
Yeah.
At night, they won't come on.
Wow.
And as soon as you exit either the elevator or the stairs, and they said they don't like doing the elevator because they feel trapped when you go that floor through the elevator.
Okay.
And I go, well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. So continue.
Right.
Is what I told him. And he says, so we take the stairs. We take all 4 floors to the stairs so we have an escape route.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay.
Escape route. Yeah, that's kind of odd verbiage.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, I take into consideration one has military experience.
Right.
And the other one's done some security in other places. So it's not necessarily a term that's not unusual for security to use.
Right.
But this type of facility and the concern they have when they were telling me,
right,
and in their voices I could tell, and then the look in their eyes, and I'm like, okay, what the heck's going on?
Right.
So he proceeds to tell me that second floor, nothing. They always go in, they lock every door, turn off all the lights, and exit out the stairwell, lock the stairwell because nobody's supposed to be on those floors. Mm-hmm. Granted, yes, we have the dorm rooms up on the 4th floor.
Okay. Yeah, but they
can go. That door doesn't get locked. They can come up and free down. Sure. There's not a fire hazard, safety issue.
Right. Yeah, you're not locking them on the 4th floor
they
and
can
leaving
still use the elevator, and they can still run down the stairs if they have to. They just can't get to the other floors.
Yeah.
And that's after they go through and they clear every floor and every room to make sure there's nobody in there.
Right.
So they said the 3rd floor. We always do the 3rd floor last.
Okay.
And I go, okay, what do you mean by that? Because we do the 2nd floor. Obviously, we're already on the 1st floor.
Sure.
So that's technically the first floor.
You're doing it first, technically.
Yeah, but technically it's really the last floor because they'll lock it up and then they'll go outside and close the other buildings.
Yeah.
But the first floor is first floor. That's where the main security office is where they spend their nights and doing paperwork, etc. So we go to the 2nd floor, and then we jump up to the 4th floor immediately. Mm-hmm. And I go, okay. And they go up there. We make sure the students that are supposed to be there that aren't on pass, they're identified. We do a head count, basically.
Okay.
And then we say, okay, guys, have a nice night. And then we come down to the 3rd floor. And we come down to the 3rd floor. We don't barge in.
Okay.
I go, okay.
Okay.
Tell me why.
Yeah.
Well, because things have happened in here.
Okay.
What do you mean? On multiple occasions, and they said it's almost every time they go in there that they're being watched.
Okay.
They're being chased.
They feel as if they're being watched.
They feel like they're being watched.
Okay.
They're being chased because they see it.
Okay.
And they use.
So they've actually seen a creature.
They've seen something.
Yeah.
I won't classify as a creature.
Okay.
They won't classify it. They call it something.
Something.
They've seen glowing red eyes at them.
Okay.
They've had a very nasty voice.
Okay.
Talk to them.
All right. In language they could understand?
In English. They could understand it.
All right. Perfect. Well,
basically,
you said that it's a diverse culture.
Yeah,
so.
it's basically telling them to leave.
Okay.
And then when you come off the stairwell, if you were to go straight, it's kind of when you walk off the stairwell, there's a little opening with some couches and chairs.
Okay.
Yeah, like a little landing loft type thing, although it's just the floor. Straight ahead and to the right is the elevator and a classroom. To the left is one of the timeout room.
Okay.
And it does a mini L shape, and then down that hallway is the rest of the offices.
Okay.
They said at that far end, it glows red at night.
Okay.
Now they said there's no lights. I said, well, is it the exit sign at the top?
Yeah, maybe
because it's red.
Something broke loose or something.
Yeah, and they said, no, we have looked. We've had maintenance up here looking. We have looked. Nothing's there. Every night it's glowing red, nasty, that real dark, bright, but
like Satan red or whatever.
That's a good way to put it.
If there is a Satan red, that's it. Yeah.
Correct. And I said, oh, really? So I'm thinking they're trying to they're trying to mess with me.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, you guys know you're not going to scare me, right? And they go, we're not trying to scare you. They go, we know this sounds crazy.
Right.
And
you may not believe us.
And he goes, I will go in there with you tonight. And I go, no, you're going to stay here in the hallway. You're going to stay in the stairwell. I will go in.
Right.
Now, the reason I said that was, did I have concern? Honestly, no.
No.
Because I've experienced strange things in the past.
Right.
So I wasn't concerned with it whatsoever. So I said, tell me more about what you've been experiencing. They said they've been scratched, they've been pushed, they become very, very ill and have to leave that floor. As soon as they leave that floor, they feel fine.
Wow.
But down at the end and that's where it comes out that chases them after they have to go all the way down.
Right.
Because where that red light is, there's 2 classrooms that have to be locked down there.
Oh man.
So
you got to fight your fears, and you have to go down there.
So I said, well, then how are you guys doing it if you're this concerned and scared? They go, we close our eyes.
Oh boy.
Really? We close our eyes, and we block out any thoughts in our heads and just go through the motion.
Wow.
I go, how do you know there's not people in there? They go,
sorry.
They told me, do you really want to know? I go, no, I probably don't.
Yeah.
But so far up to this point, nobody's been caught up there. Nobody's been locked in there. Nothing's happened on that floor with extra people being left up there after they've locked.
Right.
So they say, yeah, they go as fast as they can. They literally are running. They have it down with the keys in their hand, and they know at the angle how to get the key in fast, the lock, and boom, boom, boom.
Holy smokes.
They've got it down. And that's hard to do.
That's got to be
You can do
hard
it with training, but they're lickety-split.
Yeah.
Lickety-split.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. I said, let me go in there. Let me see if I can clear the area for you.
Right.
And they know I do a lot of prayers and cleansing and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So
you're now fully aware of your
go,
abilities.
We'll stay here. We'll prop the door open. I said, no, I want the door shut. No,
Yeah.
we're going to leave the door propped. I said, that's your business.
Full experience.
So they had the door handle not open, but where it was turned so they could just pull it. It wouldn't lock. Or it wouldn't latch.
Right.
So I go in. They ain't lying. As soon as I walked in there, pitch black, you can't see the hand in your face.
Right.
As soon as I get lined up with that long hallway around the L shape, bright red light at the end.
Wow.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I never even took a step down that hallway. And the negativity, the energy, I needed to leave.
Wow.
Immediately.
Huh.
And you know me, buddy. I don't back down.
No, yeah, you don't back down.
I don't back down unless I know that there's danger or there's some that I need to not be there. And I can it takes usually a minute or two to figure. This was immediate.
Wow.
It did not want me in there.
Yeah.
The power and the strength of the energy being pushed out of that dark red bright light.
Yeah.
I know it sounds silly to say dark red bright light.
No, but it's...
Because it's oxymoron, dark and light.
Yeah.
And I went out there and I said, tonight, you leave that open, just lock this hallway.
Yeah.
And they go, what's wrong? I go, I can't go in there. What do you mean? Are you scared? I go, no, I'm not scared.
But
nobody needs to be in there tonight.
Right.
That is not healthy. That is nasty. That's in there tonight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even push it past. I don't know for fact, but I'm under the belief, based on experience and knowledge, that's demonic.
Yeah, for sure.
Which kind of makes sense if you think about it. What's that for? Do you remember what I said?
The mental health floor.
Mental health floor.
Yes.
A lot of negativity people are dealing with in their lives.
Yeah, dealing with their private stuff.
And that's private. Not a private, but that's a perfect place for that type of negativity energy to be kicking.
Well, and I know where you're talking about. We're not going to discuss where you're talking about, but I do know that some of the programs there have people in them that are. This is their last chance.
Yeah, they're not
before they might be to prison or something.
You're right, and this is like
this
is to help them get job skills.
So you're dealing with people.
Successful.
Yeah, you're dealing with people that are not just regular Joes.
Yeah, they're
on
dealing.
The street.
They're dealing with a lot.
They're dealing with some
they're
demons.
Emotional. They're dealing with demons.
Yeah.
They're dealing with a wide variety of things. Doesn't mean they're bad people.
Right.
I never really had any issues with them at all. So, So that was That was truly the only, and I agree with them. That is the only really truly haunted. Call it haunted, but paranormal location in that facility.
Right.
And I haven't talked to those people in years.
Sure.
Don't have any plans to.
Right.
But as far as I know, that building's still there.
Yeah.
That facility's still there. And
I think I saw it the other day.
It's a very, very nasty location.
Wow.
That is truly one of the places that, if I ever get the opportunity to go back there, I won't.
Yeah,
Not to that floor.
Pass on the third floor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Again, I don't know if it was a portal. I don't know if it was a gateway to hell.
Sure.
I do know that it was demonic. It was quite clearly, it had a heavy demonic feel to it. So.
In speaking to these young men, correct? I believe that's what you
they're
said?
in their 20s.
Yeah, okay. Both of them are young men. Did they give you any kind of details as to what happened when they used to go down the hall with the eyes open?
Eyes open was always like almost, I would describe it as a dark figure.
Okay.
Kind of like a shadow person, dark figure with eyes glowing at them. And very nasty and would touch, scratch, push.
Okay. That's where they got touched and scratched on that particular corridor.
On that floor, yes.
Oh, okay.
It happened anywhere on that building.
Okay.
Or not anywhere on that building. Anywhere on the third floor
of that building
where all that was going on. Yeah.
Wow.
So. Everybody was very concerned about going up that floor, and rightfully so, based on what I experienced and saw.
Sure.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Did you get a chance to speak to anybody that worked in there during the day?
Yes, I did.
About that?
During the day, there's an uneasiness during the day.
Okay.
But nothing anywhere taking place. Other than uneasiness. That's it.
Sure.
During the day. And it makes sense because it's daylight.
I wonder if, and I'm not trying to poo-poo on anybody's anybody's experiences by any stretch of the imagination, but I wonder with there being so much, this is an old building, there being so much obvious electrical issues, I wonder if maybe the EMF fields weren't really high up there.
Definitely. Now, my experience with EMF fields, I haven't never experienced that when in a very high dense EMF field area.
Okay.
And I've worked
so it didn't feel the same.
No, it was a different type of energy.
I get it.
Now, granted, with that being said, I have worked enough high energy fields or old buildings that had huge EMF fields. This is a totally different thing.
That's true.
Plus, I mean, this is clearly with EMF. I feel it.
It's a feeling.
I don't see it. I feel it.
It can create paranoia
for certain people, definitely. But this was clear. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm not messing with you.
I'm not going down there.
Yeah. Right. So
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, that's
teaching. Always an experience.
That's crazy.
All my teachers out there know.
Especially in an older school building, in a downtown area. So
exactly.
Yeah. Wow. So wow.
I hope you can sleep well tonight, buddy.
Oh, I'll sleep like a baby.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff just makes me want to go to bed right now.
Well, piece of advice: if you see a red light down the hallway at your house,
I'm not
stay in your room.
I'll stay in there. Yeah, I'll stay in there. Well, we got the not the lava lamp, but we got the Himalayan sea salt lamp that glows red in the living room. So I hope I don't freak out, but we usually keep our door shut. But anyways, so if you want to get a hold of us, we would really love to hear your stories, your personal experiences, anything. Even if you just want to share it with somebody, but you don't necessarily want your business broadcast out on the radio waves.
Exactly.
Just if you just want to share, we are more than happy to do that, and we're on all the social media, or not all of them. I say that every time, and
Twitter, Facebook,
Instagram at WTBNK, and it's WTBNK@gmail.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll catch you on the next time.
This has been a Loyal Families Entertainment and Production Joint.